The sun rose over Bondi Beach in a spectacular display of pink and gold, painting the sky in colors that Emma Wilson had never seen in her native London. At 5:30 a.m., the famous beach was already coming to life with joggers, early morning swimmers, and dedicated surfers catching the dawn waves. Emma adjusted her camera settings, trying to capture the perfect moment when the sunlight hit the turquoise waters. December in Sydney was nothing like the Christmases she'd known all her life. No frost on windows, no cozy fireplaces, no wool scarves wrapped tight against the cold. Instead, there was the salty breeze, the sound of waves, and temperatures that already promised to soar past 30 degrees Celsius. "You'll want to move about 3 meters to your left," a voice called out. "Better angle for the sunrise." She turned to find a tall, tan man in a wetsuit, surfboard tucked under his arm. His sun-bleached hair and easy smile screamed, "Local." "The rocks in the foreground will give your shot more depth," he added, gesturing to the spot he'd suggested. Emma followed his advice, and through her viewfinder, she could immediately see he was right. The composition was perfect. "Thanks," she said, taking the shot. "I'm Emma." "Jack Cooper," he replied. "Professional surfer, amateur photographer, and full-time Bondi local." He gestured to the rental shop behind them, its sign reading Cooper's Surf School and Rentals. "You're a long way from home for Christmas," he added, clearly catching her British accent. "That obvious, huh?" Emma laughed. "Travel blogger. Thought it was time to experience Christmas down under." "And how's that going?" "Honestly? Bit weird. Spent yesterday watching Santa arrive at the beach on a surfboard. In London, he typically sticks to sleighs." Jack's laugh was warm and genuine. "Tell you what, I'm about to take a group out for a morning surf lesson. Want to join?" First lessons free for travel bloggers documenting their cultural confusion. Emma looked at the powerful waves, then back at her camera. "I should probably keep it dry." "No worries," Jack said easily. "How about this instead? Let me be your guide to a proper Aussie Christmas. Show you why Santa prefers surfboards to sleighs down here." Under normal circumstances, Emma might have hesitated, but something about Jack's open smile and the magical morning light made her nod. "All right, cultural guide. Show me what I've been missing." Over the next few days, Jack introduced Emma to a Christmas season unlike anything she'd experienced. They started with breakfast at his favorite beachside cafe, where she tried Vegemite for the first time. "It's an acquired taste." He laughed at her expression and discovered the joy of flat whites served with ocean views. He took her to the Bondi markets, where local artisans sold beach-themed Christmas ornaments, surfing Santas, koala angels, and baubles filled with sand and shells. They wandered through rows of stalls selling summer dresses, handmade jewelry, and tropical Christmas cards. "Still missing your winter wonderland?" Jack asked as they shared a mango smoothie. "It's different," Emma admitted, "but beautiful in its own way. Though I can't quite get used to seeing Christmas trees on the beach." "Wait until you see what we do for Christmas dinner." Instead of traditional roast turkey and hot pudding, Jack introduced her to the Australian Christmas feast. Prawns fresh from the Sydney fish market, cold ham, pavlova topped with fresh summer fruits, and chilled white wine. They ate at a picnic table in his parents' backyard, surrounded by flowering jacaranda trees and the sound of cicadas. "This is what Christmas sounds like here," Jack said, pointing up at the loud insects. "Nature's carol singers." Emma found herself sharing stories about London Christmases, skating at Somerset House, mulled wine at winter markets, shops lit up along Oxford Street. Jack listened intently, asking questions about traditions so different from his own. "Sometimes I miss it," she admitted. "The cold, the coziness of it all." "But," Jack prompted, sensing there was more. "But there's something magical about this too. It's like Christmas without the pressure. Everyone's so relaxed." The days leading up to Christmas were filled with uniquely Sydney experiences. Jack taught her to spot the difference between good and bad surf conditions. They took the ferry from Circular Quay to Manly, the Opera House and Harbour Bridge providing a stunning backdrop. Emma's Instagram followers were treated to daily updates of her Australian Christmas adventure. On Christmas Eve, Jack had a surprise planned. He picked her up early in the evening, driving them to a secret location that turned out to be a hidden beach accessible only by a steep walking track. "Worth the hike?" he asked as they emerged onto the pristine sand. Emma could only nod. The small cove was perfect, and they were the only ones there. Jack produced a picnic basket filled with seasonal treats, mangoes, cherries, cold Christmas leftovers, and a bottle of Australian sparkling wine. As the sun set, painting the sky in spectacular colors, Jack taught her about the southern hemisphere constellations visible in the darkening sky. Christmas in Australia means different stars too, he explained, pointing out the Southern Cross. Everything's upside down here, Emma mused. But somehow it all makes perfect sense. The next morning, Christmas Day, dawned bright and hot. Emma had an assignment to photograph the traditional Christmas swim at Bondi Beach, where hundreds of people would gather in Santa hats and swimsuits to celebrate in true Australian style. She arrived early, camera ready, to find Jack already there in board shorts and a Santa hat, his surfboard decorated with tinsel. "Merry Christmas," he called out, pulling her into a hug that smelled of sunscreen and salt water. Ready to document some Aussie madness? The beach was a festival of color and joy. Families set up picnic blankets and beach umbrellas, children built sandcastles decorated with seashells and miniature Christmas trees, and swimmers braved the waves in festive costumes. Emma moved through the crowd, capturing moments of pure joy. A group of friends toasting with champagne at sunrise, kids unwrapping presents on beach towels, lifeguards in Santa hats patrolling the shore. Jack stayed close, providing context and stories for each tradition she documented. "This is what Christmas means here," he explained as they watched a group of kids playing cricket on the beach. "Being outdoors, being together, celebrating the summer." After she finished her shoot, Jack insisted on giving her one more Christmas experience. He led her to his surf shop, pulling out a beginner's board. "Time for that surf lesson," he announced. "Can't leave Sydney without trying it. On Christmas Day? Best day for it. Trust me." And somehow, Emma found herself in the water, Jack's patient hands steadying her board as she learned to read the waves. After numerous failed attempts and spectacular wipeouts, she finally managed to stand up and ride a small wave all the way to shore. The triumph on her face made Jack's heart skip a beat. That evening, they joined the massive Christmas gathering at Darling Harbour. Families and friends spread picnic blankets on the grass, sharing food and stories as they waited for the fireworks. The air was filled with the scent of barbecue and the sound of Christmas songs mixed with summer hits. "Still missing the snow?" Jack asked as they found a spot with a perfect view of the harbor. Emma considered the question, looking around at the scene before her. Children running through water fountains, elderly couples dancing to Jingle Bells, played by a street musician, the sunset casting a warm glow over the city skyline. No, she realized. This feels right. Different, but right. As the fireworks began, lighting up the harbor in spectacular colors, Jack took her hand. "Different can be good," he said softly. "Very good," Emma agreed, squeezing his hand. The next day, Emma would need to continue her travels. She had assignments in Melbourne and the Great Barrier Reef. But something had shifted in her plans. The flight back to London in January suddenly seemed less appealing. "You know," Jack said, as if reading her thoughts, "we do New Year's Eve pretty well here too. The fireworks over the harbor bridge are world famous." Emma looked at him, this sun-bronzed man who had shown her a whole new way of celebrating Christmas, who had helped her see beauty in the unexpected. "I might need to document that too," she said. "For the blog, of course." "Of course," Jack agreed, his smile as bright as the Sydney summer. Purely professional research. They sat together as the last of the Christmas fireworks faded, the warm night air filled with possibility. Emma's camera lay forgotten in her bag. Some moments, she had learned, were better experienced than captured. Above them, the Southern Cross twinkled in the clear night sky, while the sounds of White Christmas drifted ironically from a nearby party. It wasn't the Christmas Emma had grown up with, but it was perfect in its own way. A summer Christmas story written in sunshine, salt water, and new beginnings.